A huge victory for the EPP, huge victory for Ursula von der Leyen, and very clear messages from the electorate. They want Europe to be led by EPP, the steady hands of EPP leadership in the next institutional cycle, and they want the EPP to lead a centrist coalition. I think these calls are very, very clear from the electorate. We are listening to what the people are saying.
But if you are listening to the electorate voted more for lawmakers from the ID and the ECR, so ultra-right conservatives here in the European Parliament. So if you listen to them, why are you not also looking at this side of the Parliament to form a majority?
I think that the far right has seen gains. There's no doubt about it, but there's no surge of the far right as people predicted. What we have is a clear and decisive victory for the policies and the brand of politics of the EPP. Strong leadership, pragmatic policies. People people went to these elections voting for the future. They didn't vote for the past. They didn't reward us for handling multiple crises in the previous institutional cycle. They're concerned about their economy. They're concerned about jobs, prosperity, the competitiveness of the economy, but also they're concerned about their security on the streets of their cities, external security, as well as migration. And what they want from their elected officials is practical policies, not policies led by and framed by ideology, but policies that work. This is the type of politics that we are known for. These are the type of politics that we have practiced in the member states, and this is why they're voting EPP. So they're also voting, but they're also voting EPP for another reason as well, because our recipe for success at the national level has been framed by the following: smart policies, fiscally conservative, respect for the taxpayers' money, an agenda that is inclusive for all and fundamentally centrist. So this is the message. This is what European citizens voted for.
Very clear that that's what you're going to do next. But let me just clarify what happens in the coming weeks, because as our audience is already thinking what's coming up next. What's coming up next is a conversation on the top jobs.
Sure.
A lot of people are suggesting that because Macron called a snap election, that Renew is going to be weaker in these negotiations for the next top jobs, and it will give you the opportunity to decide who gets which top job. Do you feel that that's the way? Do you think that you're empowered to figure out who's going to get the council, who's going to get the commission, and so on?
That's exactly right. I mean, this is exactly what happened. I mean, the message that the people sent, both for a centrist coalition, but they also sent the message for an EPP-led institutional cycle. So yes, they want us to lead, and they want.
Which jobs are you going after? Besides the commission?
I think there's no question about it that the next commission will be led by Ursula von der Leyen. She did a fantastic job. She campaigned on her record, but also on the policies for the future. She visited 17 countries, over 25, 26 cities around Europe. She framed the narrative, she framed the conversation, and people trust her and people want her in this position. So the top job goes to the EPP, there's no question about it.
What about the other top jobs? Because there's President of the European Council also on the line here.
Yeah, well,
Do you want that too?
Well, I'll tell you, I mean, this is, the manifestation of building a centrist coalition. I think our leaders are very, very willing to talk with the socialists and talk with the liberals and even talk with the Greens that didn't play such a constructive role during these past elections. But we're going to reach out to them again in order to form a coalition, to form a majority, and to form and frame the policies that will serve the European people. And that's what we're going to do. Are we going to look at the far right? No, we're not. The far right is fragmented, it has its own problems, and it's not what the people want, and it's not what we want.
Very clear. Let's talk about Hungary as well, because the Prime Minister, Viktor Orban, he was a member of the EPP. He's now reconsidering all of that. But ultimately, given your stronger position in the European Parliament, will you be calling on Viktor Orban to join your club again?
No, absolutely not. Viktor Orban in a previous life and a different manifestation of his political existence did belong to the EPP. But for us, who we work with is very, very clear. Pro-Europe, pro-rule of law, pro-Ukraine. If you don't meet those requirements, we cannot work with you.
And does Giorgia Meloni follow that criteria?
I think Giorgia Meloni has been very constructive at the council. I can tell you that my EPP leaders think she's smart, she's constructive, she's doing a great job at the council. Italy is a big country, and that's good for Europe.
Very clear. Thank you so much for your time.